Hey folks, grab a coffee and pull up a chair because I'm your neighbor Mike from Evergreen Terrace and I still can't believe what went down on our quiet little cul-de-sac last year. You know the type of place. Perfectly manicured lawns, kids riding bikes till the streetlights flick on, block parties where everyone pretends their potato salad isn't store-bought, surface-level paradise, snake pit of made-up rules and one woman who decided she was the queen of it all. Picture Elias Hawthorne, prosecutor turned judge, the guy who'd spent 15 years locking up cartel bosses and crooked senators. Widower, if Emily to cancer 3 years back. All he had left was their 10-year-old daughter Lily and that little craftsman house with the white picket fence Emily painted herself the summer she was pregnant. Those deep red climbing roses in the front yard? Emily's last promise to him. Keep them alive for me, Elias. They'll remind Lily she had a mom who loved flowers more than life. He tended them like they were holy. Mowed at 7 a.m. Coached Lily's softball team. Helped old Mrs. Delgado carry groceries. Spare key. Then Victoria Langford rolled in like a hurricane in a white Escalade. Blonde highlights that probably cost more than my mortgage payment. Designer sunglasses, and that dead-eyed smile that screamed, "I own this zip code." Husband supposedly drilling oil overseas, or so she claimed. Within 48 hours, she'd printed glossy business cards. Victoria Langford, Evergreen Terrace Compliance Officer. Never mind our HOA had been dead since Reagan. Never held a meeting. We liked it that way. First strike came on a Tuesday morning. Elias stepped out for coffee and found Victoria on his lawn with a clipboard, measuring his mailbox like it owed her money. "Morning, neighbor," she chirped, voice all sugar and razor blades. "That cast iron relic is non-compliant. Rust spots, chipped paint, violates Section 4.2 of Community Aesthetic Standards. Replace within 48 hours or it's $50 a day." Elias just smiled that prosecutor smile. "Victoria, our HOA hasn't been legally active since 1987. County records are public." He handed her a polite 2-page letter citing case law, Title 42 protections for federal employees, and a gentle suggestion she take her fines and shove them where the sun doesn't shine. She laughed, that laugh that could curdle milk. "Bless your heart. Don't understand progress." That night, the roses started dying. Elias woke at 2 a.m. to motion lights blazing. Installed the system after the mailbox nonsense. Showed Victoria in black yoga pants creeping through the garden with a gallon of industrial bleach. She poured it slow, humming like she was watering petunias. By sunrise, every last bloom was black and curling. Lily came downstairs, saw the garden, and just whispered, "Daddy, Mommy's flowers." You could hear Elias's heart crack from 3 houses away. He marched next door with the printed footage on his phone. "Victoria, trespassing and destruction of property. I've got it on 4K.
We didn't mean any harm.
She didn't even blink. Roses were a safety hazard. Allergies. Bees. Think of the children. I filed a community complaint this morning. Signed by 12 neighbors. Spoiler, not a single signature was real. That's when the war really started. Over the next months, she turned our street into her personal kingdom. Tow trucks showed up at 6 a.m. to haul away his sister's Civic because overnight guest parking violates new emergency rules. Fake inspectors, her cousin Derek, unemployed and sketchy, randomly showed up while Lily was home alone for lunch, cameras clicking through every room while she hyperventilated in the closet. "Just a safety check, sweetie." Adults. Elias stayed calm on the surface, smiled at block parties. Auto anyway. But behind closed doors he was building a file thicker than the Bible. Every violation logged. Every forged document scanned. If to the cloud. He knew predators like Victoria escalate. And he was ready. But the real gut punch came when she went after Lily directly. Tuesday afternoon, Elias was mid-trial crushing a wire fraud defendant when his phone lit up like a Christmas tree. 12 missed calls from Lily's school. He broke every speed limit racing home. Found his baby girl in the nurse's office clutching her inhaler, face white as paper. Daddy, bad men were in our house. They said I couldn't ask questions. The inspectors had photographed her bedroom, rifled through medicine cabinets, left the place smelling like cigarettes and entitlement. Business card on the floor, Evergreen Property Assessments LLC. Registered that morning to a vacant lot. Owner Derek Langford, Victoria's cousin with 3 DUIs and 0 construction experience. Elias filed an emergency restraining order that very night. Judge Hernandez, old friend of Emily's, signed it in 20 minutes. Victoria couldn't come within 500 feet of him or Lily. Victory lasted exactly 14 hours. Next morning, 2 cops were on his porch. Victoria stood behind them dabbing fake tears with a tissue. He threatened to bury me so deep even God couldn't find the body. Officers. I'm terrified. Sergeant Rick Bellows, same last name as the towing company owner, smirked. Mrs. A counterorder this morning. Claims you've been stalking her to church, taking pictures. Judge already signed. 2 conflicting orders. But Victoria had just committed federal perjury against a federal prosecutor. That's when Elias made the call that changed everything. His old law school roommate Marcus Webb, now top FBI financial crimes guy, picked up on the first ring. Thad, it's midnight. Close. Tear apart Victoria Langford's life. 48 hours later, Marcus called back whistling. Buddy, your neighborhood tyrant is drowning. Back taxes on a rental property, max credit cards, husband's oil job is actually a truck stop gig in Nevada. But here's the kicker. She's been collecting HOA assessments from 23 families. 340 grand that went straight into her pocket. No community fund exists because no HOA exists. Mail fraud, wire fraud, civil rights violations targeting single parents and minorities. This isn't a Karen. I'm with a suburban zip code. Elias felt that cold prosecutor calm settle in. How fast can we move? Task force by Thursday. State Police Corruption Unit. We're gonna bury her. But Victoria sensed the noose tightening. She got reckless. One Thursday evening, Elias came home to find his front door ajar and the house trashed. Drawers dumped, papers everywhere. On the kitchen table sat a manila envelope labeled evidence of judicial misconduct. Forged bank statements, doctored emails, even a fake letter on courthouse letterhead threatening Victoria's life. Professional work. Except the letter was dated for a day Elias was literally on C-SPAN testifying in D.C. And the wording was pure amateur, legal terms no real prosecutor would ever use. FBI surveillance caught Derek Langford planting it while Victoria coached him from her car via Bluetooth. Make sure his fingerprints are on the envelope. We need this to look like he's hiding something. Then the local news ran the story. Federal prosecutor under investigation for corruption. Anonymous sources. Concerned neighbors. The works. CPS showed up the same afternoon claiming anonymous tips about drugs and neglect. Lily cried herself to sleep in his bed that night. Elias just stared at the surveillance photos and whispered to the dark. You just handed me the match, Victoria. The final escalation came on a Tuesday when desperation turned Victoria into a full-blown arsonist. Elias was in court when the texts hit. House fire at 847 Evergreen Lane. He left the prosecutor mid-sentence, tires screaming the whole way home. Smoke plumed black 3 blocks out. Fire trucks everywhere. Delgado's lawn, soot on her cheeks, sobbing. Daddy, the roses, everything mommy loved. Fire marshal confirmed accelerant. Timer devices. Potential domestic terrorism because the victim was a federal employee. But Victoria's cousin Derek wasn't the sharpest tool. He left fingerprints on the gas cans, dropped his driver's license in the basement, and paid for the timers with his own credit card at Home Depot the day before. By 8 p.m., custody singing like a canary. She promised me 10 grand from the HOA money, said if we burned his files, he'd be too busy with insurance to keep investigating her. The wiretap on Victoria's phone sealed it. Her voice, crystal clear 3 hours before the fire. Use enough accelerant to destroy everything. Start in the basement where he keeps the legal files. If the kid happens to be home well, they brought this on themselves by not minding their own business. Attempted murder. Game over. At 11:30 p.m., Victoria's McMansion like the 4th of July. They dragged her out in designer pajamas and perfect makeup, handcuffs clicking. The last thing she saw was Elias standing on Mrs. Delgado's lawn holding Lily, watching justice arrive with badges and warrants. That smug shark smile finally cracked into pure terror. 6 months later, the courtroom was packed. United States versus Victoria Langford. National news called it HOA Karen meets federal hammer. Judge Hernandez ran a tight ship. Prosecutor Amanda Walsh played the wiretap. The whole gallery gasped when Victoria's own voice filled the room. Even if someone gets hurt, they brought this on themselves. Victoria couldn't help herself and snapped, "Your Honor, I was protecting our community standards, Mr. Hawthorne thought being a federal judge made him special. Someone had to teach him rules apply to everyone." The courtroom exploded. Record to targeting a federal employee, arson, and terrorizing a child. Hate crime enhancements locked in. Judge Hernandez didn't even blink. Mrs. discussed burning a family home with zero regard for whether a 10-year-old might die inside. 15 years federal prison, no parole. Full restitution, $473,000 to your victims. Derek, 8 years for cooperation. The gallery erupted in applause. Mrs. wiped happy tears. Young families who'd been quietly bankrupted finally breathed again. But the sweetest part? Victoria's husband flew back from Nevada the week before sentencing and testified against her. Turned out she'd forged his signatures on every fake HOA document too. 2 years later, Evergreen Terrace is unrecognizable in the best way. The new legitimate HOA, written by actual constitutional lawyers with transparent audits, runs like a real community. Property values jumped 40% because families now specifically move here knowing bullies get crushed. The $473,000 recovered funded solar streetlights, a playground where kids laugh instead of hiding, and the Evergreen Justice Fund that's already helped 87 families nationwide fight their own HOA nightmares. Elias rebuilt the house stronger. The Memorial Rose Garden blooms brighter than ever. Every neighbor contributed a bush. Lily, now 12, practices softball in the backyard and tells her teammates, "The best revenge is building something beautiful where they left ashes." Victoria, year 3 of 15 at Danbury Federal Prison, folding laundry for 23 cents an hour. Last report says the other inmates, especially the ones who hate child-targeting predators, have made sure she understands exactly how small her community standards really were. So yeah, folks, next time your HOA Karen starts measuring your mailbox, remember Elias Hawthorne. Smile politely, and if she pushes too far, call the feds. Because in Evergreen Terrace we learned the hard way. Some Karens just need a federal indictment to finally shut up.